How's it going? Brian here at etrailer.com. Today on our 2019 Ram 1500, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the Curt Class III 2-inch trailer hitch receiver. The first thing I noticed about this hitch is that it's going to look really nice, like it's almost factory. It's going to be completely hidden. The only thing you're going to see is a receiver tube. The hitch is going to sit up nice and tight against the bottom of our bumper, so we're not really going to have to worry about sacrificing any of our truck's ground clearance. And the end of the receiver tube is going to sit about flush with the edge of our bumper, so it's going to work really well if you happen to plan on using it for some accessories like a cargo carrier or a bike rack. Now, one thing I think is pretty neat is how they designed the hitch. Now, it's more or less just this receiver tube, but since it connects to a heavy-duty brace here in the back of the truck, it's going to be really sturdy. We're not going to sacrifice any weight capacity. Now, the maximum gross tongue weight rating is going to be 600 pounds. That's going to be the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. So that's going to be more than enough for any cargo carrier or bike rack that you might want to use. Now, as far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, it's going to be 6,000 pounds, the amount of weight pulling on the hitch. So that's the weight of your trailer plus anything you might have on it. Now, I do want to point out, it is always a good idea to check with your Ram's owner's manual to make sure your truck can pull that much weight. Now, since it is a Class 3 hitch, we're going to have that 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening, as well as a reinforced collar for extra strength. Now, it is going to have the standard size 5/8 pinhole, which I do want to point out, a pin and clip is not included, but if you need one, you can find it here at eTrailer. Now, it is going to have loop-style safety chain openings, which aren't huge, but they're going to give us more than enough room to use just about any size hook that we might have, whether it be a very large one like this, or even a smaller, more standard size one. Now, compared to some of the other hitches out there, this one isn't going to be as heavy duty, but it is going to be perfect for those more common towing needs, and you can use it for those accessories too. Now, if you plan on towing a trailer with brakes, I'd recommend picking up a brake controller to help get to a safe stop. Now, the one I would personally choose for the Ram would be the Red Arc Tow Pro Elite. That's because it's very small and compact, and since the Ram's dashboard doesn't have a whole lot of room, finding a spot to mount a larger, more traditional style brake controller could be somewhat of a challenge. Now I'm going to give you a couple of measurements, and you're going to use these to help figure out which hitch-mounted accessories to get. From the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, it's about 20.5 inches. So you're going to use that to figure out if you need to get a ball mount with either a drop or a rise. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of our rear bumper, that's about 2.5 inches. And you're going to use that to figure out if any folding accessories you might have can be stored in the upright position without contacting the bumper. Now, to get the hitch installed is very simple. It won't hardly take you any time at all. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and put it on together now. To begin our installation, we're going to be working here at the back of the truck. We're going to have to remove a plastic cap here on top of the bumper. To remove the cap, you just simply grab underneath it, pop it out, and set it off to the side. Now, before we put our hitch into place, since it is powder coated, sometimes that powder coating can kind of gunk up the threads a little bit. So what I like to do to make it easier to get everything started once we have the hitch in place is to take our hardware that it comes with and kind of just thread it in by hand and make sure it goes in nice and easily, and that'll help kind of clean some of that debris out of those threads. And while we're at it, I'll go ahead and do that same thing for the weld nut assembly. Now what we're going to do is take our weld nut assembly, we're going to set that on this plate here, and then we're going to take our large bolt, and from the top, right where we remove that plug, we're going to drop this bolt through this opening. It's set like that. Then we're able to take our hitch, put it in position, and we're going to get this large bolt started hand tight into the hitch. That way it'll hold itself up. Then we'll grab our other bolts and we're going to put on a conical tooth washer. And you want to make sure that the teeth on the washer face up towards the hitch. We're going to thread that into our weld nut assembly. We'll just get both of them hand tight for now. Now with all of our hardware in place and hand tight, we can go ahead and snug down our large bolt up top. And now we can come back underneath and tighten down these two bolts. Now we can use a torque wrench to tighten up all the hardware down to the specification found in our instructions. To torque down our bolt up top, I'm going to be using a 1/2 inch size Allen key socket. And to wrap everything up, we can just take our cap and pop that back into place. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Curt Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2019 Ram 1500.